Hey guys, so Master Duel is finally out and it's super exciting. I know everyone's jumping on it, and so I thought I'd take the time to share some of my deck list first and some of the replays I've had. And so of course I am playing Cyber Dragons. I mean, ideally I would have liked to try other decks, but realistically I just wanted to get going right off the bat, and I wanted to choose a deck that I'm most comfortable with, and the resources are kind of precious, so you don't want to fool around too much and you just want to sort of build that competitive deck as most efficiently as possible. So I'll just go over my list. Let's share some replays, and then maybe at the end we can just go over how we can improve the deck list moving forward. And so if we go to the deck option right here, you can see Cyber Dragons. And so of course keep in mind that it is pretty in a way rudimentary. I kind of just started out recently as of last night, and so I mean it's there. Like the core Cyber Dragon monsters, we have the standard number. We do have some budget options, like Raigeki. Surprisingly, Pot of Prosperity, it's actually in the super rare slot, which means it's actually quite affordable. Although other cards like Lightning Storm, even Dark Rule and Droplets, they are in the ultra rare slot, which makes it very expensive and harder to obtain. And I actually prioritize my ultra rare craft points and getting Maxx because I feel like most ranked gameplay, they're probably going to be having this, and as a going second deck, and also as a deck that can brick quite badly, this card can really help. So that's what I prioritize on. And evenly matched, surprisingly, this is also in the super rare slot, making it very affordable as your starting out board breaking option, because I do want to eventually upgrade this to Lightning Storms, and same with this, I want to upgrade to Forbidden Droplet, because right now, for example, if someone has a Floodgate, then I can't really out it because they could just keep it, for example. And I do have Nightmare Phoenix for that scenario, as well as Rampage can also pop spell and traps, but depending on the Floodgate, you may not be able to resolve those effects. Now I do want to explain the two Gamma. Basically, I was looking through the hand traps that are available, and they were all in the ultra rare slot. Even something like Effect Veiler, which in reality is a common, it's very cheap to get, but in this game it's an ultra rare. Everything's like an ultra rare for hand traps, except for Gamma. I realized it was super rare, so I'm like, okay, sweet, I'm gonna get like 3 of these. I got the Driver, I even got the Lambda, and then I realized we're using a slightly outdated OCG ban list where Gamma is a 2, and so that's just silly. I mean, I already invested in it. I'm going to use it for now. It is, worst case, a light monster that you can pitch for Galaxy Soldier. But, once I get enough ultra rare craft points, I'll probably swap these out for Ash, and I'll kind of discuss that more after the replays. And the extra deck is, for the most part, pretty solid. Of course, I think Dragoons may be banned, and Burst of Destiny cards are not in here yet, so DP is not even here. And so we're back with Cyber Twin, back when, sort of like the quote-unquote pure Cyber Dragon list would play. I'm obviously not doing this anytime soon. Maybe it could come out after Nova gets, Maximus, whatever. I mean, it could also be a Mechaba, but I just pulled this out of the pack, so I'm just going to use that for now. And so All Mirage is another ultra rare that I actually did prioritize getting, because it's very integral to be able to start out your plays for Repair Plant. And of course, Anaconda I also prioritize as well. Hopefully it does not get banned soon, but the next TCG list, it's probably coming out at any moment. At the time of recording, it did not come out yet, and well, this might actually be gone by then. So that is my list for now. It's a startup, and I want to be clear, I did not spend any actual money on this, and I don't plan on spending actual money on this. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid to start out. So I'll share you some replays. Keep in mind that in terms of just opponents' skill level and the deck that they're playing, it's going to go sort of in ascending order, because we are just starting out in ranked play, so it's not going to be too intense at the beginning. So let's get started. Okay, so this first replay, again, it's going to be pretty simple because it's just starting out in ranked play. It happens to be a ranked gameplay a mirror match in Cyber Dragons. And now if it kind of lags a little, I do apologize in advance. I think I just can't quite get the setting right. It seems like this game does require a lot of power. But anyways, hopefully it's still bearable. He only ends on with core and setting, searching that trap, which I can actually show you. You can kind of see this log option. Basically, it shows, so you can tribute it and summon a fusion monster that lists Cyber Dragon. Really does not matter too much for us. So we are going to start off with the core, and I think these animations look pretty sweet. I know we don't really get any of this in Dueling Book, but at the same time, not to go off on tangent, but Dueling Book does provide still very useful simulator, because this Master Duel is kind of an alternate format for us, really, because it's using the OCG list at the moment. And for us, when we get the new cards out and we have a new ban list, I am definitely still going to use Dueling Book to test for actual competitive play purposes. Anyways, so basically we've gone into the Almirage with core, used the repair plant to search the soldier, and we pitched the Herz to summon the soldier, and we obtained the Cyber Dragon and another soldier, and now we're going into the Succeed summon into Cyber Dragon Nova. And so the animation's looking pretty sick. We're going to use that effect, detach a material, and we're going to special summon Cyber Dragon Herz. Now we can go right into Infinity. And that animation is just gorgeous. So here I actually probably should have just contact fused away the core with the Herz going to Counter-Attack Fortress, so he does not have anything that he can use to tribute for his trap. Basically, I was just sort of by habit playing around Gamma where I want to leave him a monster before I suck it up with Infinity, but realistically, A, you know, Gamma's only at 2 with this list, and B, we're just starting out in rank play. A lot of them probably don't have any hand traps, so I don't know, I probably didn't have to play it that way. So I do negate this, which does make me prone to Nibiru, but again, you know, beginning of rank play, Nibiru is an ultra rare. I didn't really expect my opponent to have that. So we are going to negate it, and this chain link sequence is pretty nice as well. Hopefully for newer players, it makes it easier to understand how chains work and how to resolve them. But now we do send the 2 light machines for Rampage, so it can attack 2 extra times, so it's essentially attacking 3 times in total. And so we are just going hardcore here and just going for game with Infinity. So yeah, like I said, this first one, you know, very, very simple. But, you know, we'll move on to the next replay. So let's go. Alright, so the second replay is against Darklords, which is a deck I don't think I've ever really played against. I mean, in the beginning of the rank play, you're going to see a lot of decks that are sort of even below rogue level, which is totally fine. I think it's really, really cool and you get to learn more. So I don't know too much about this deck. He's going to discard Ishil to draw 2, and then he's going to summon out the Ukruback. Basically just foolishes, and then adds a search with the Darklord card. I mean, this is going too fast, I guess. So Contact is going to reborn the Superbia from grave, which then will reborn that Ishil as well. And so I believe he's using the effect to basically it copies Darklord card in the graveyard after spending 1,000 life points. And then looks like he's going to just link 2 into, let's see here, Condemn Darklord. And so you can kind of follow the effects here as well and just basically discard a card, take a Darklord monster, and just add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. So our hand is not that great, but we do draw a Raigeki, which is kind of nice. So we are going to start off with the emergency. Let's just get that core. Next we will just use that Raigeki. He's going to chain Ishil's effect, I guess, just to... I don't think this really does much. He's going to basically copy that effect to reborn from grave and just get that Ukru back, I guess. But, I mean, it's something. And so we do destroy everything. And so we do, unfortunately, do have to use Prosperity. We just don't have any other plays. And without, like, for example, a Dragoon or DP, you know, normally you could search, like, Revsystem with core and just go into Anaconda, bring that up. But right now, we don't have that option. So we are just stuck to the traditional, you know, Nova Infinity play. So I'll just fast forward at this point because it is just going to be the same. So we will link off into the Almirage, activate that repair plant, and get the soldier. And so we will pitch to Herz, use soldier chainlink 1, chainlink 2 Herz. And so Herz just going to add us that Cyber Dragon, and soldier will add us another soldier. Next we do have Driver, which is a light monster. It's useless and it's still useful when it's in the grave, so we will just get rid of that instead of the Cyber Dragon. Go into Nova, and you're going to use that effect. And we are under Prosperity, so we're only dealing half damage, which is why I'm not going into Anaconda, because that's just sort of not really resourceful. And I'm actually going to suck up the Herz instead. That way I can just, you know, detach Herz for cost when I negate with Infinity, and you get to trigger Herz effect. So we will set that Chalice there, and just pass turn. Our opponent is going to start off with the Trickstar monster. So Nightshade, and goes into Trickstar Bloom. So didn't really, I honestly didn't really understand this thing, but he has Super Poly, which is pretty cool. Just gets rid of my Infinity, and of course I figured it would be Mud Dragon. I mean, there's not really other targets. And so you do see this cool animation just to bring out this really unattractive monster. And so with the Nightshade, I guess that just also comes back. I do get to trigger the Herz still though. And so, I mean, he's just calling an attribute. It doesn't really do anything. So we are going to resolve that effect. And with the Herz, we're just going to add back the core from grave to hand just so we have that follow-up. And so he's just going to link that off into the Trickstar Bloom. And just go into battle. So we will just take that 100. and the 19 from Mud Dragon. So, you know, honestly, we're actually still in good shape. We do have Overload Fusion. So we draw the Maxx. That would have been nice a little bit earlier. So we're going to special the Cyber Dragon first. Now, originally, the way I was sequencing this was so I could get the Infinity Engrave and also go into another Nova and then go into Infinity with the Rampage and Cyber Dragon. The problem was I forgot that I had banished off Prosperity, one copy each of the Nova and Infinity. And that's sort of the downside of Master Duel, I find. I mean, it's just nitpicking, but you don't get to actually actively see cards in the Banish Engrave pile. So I have to get used to that. So essentially at that point, once I realized, I sort of had to reshift my strategy, because now I want to play around at least Nibiru if I'm not going to be bringing out Infinity. So I'll actually go into the Seeker, so now that's just like, you know, I can just go into 4 summons, and so we're going to pump that Rampage with the Seeker, and then so we are going to go for that final blow with the jacked up Rampage, and so we do take that one as well. So that was a fun one. Let's just move on to the third replay. Okay, so this third replay is now we're in the silver ranked category, so now our opponent actually has a competent deck. And so my hand is not looking too good here, and it's actually against Dragonmaid, and I lose this one. Partly has to do with the fact that I just have not played against pure Dragonmaids in so long. I just kind of completely forgot what they did. I mean, I'm only just used to seeing them in Dragon Link strategies. So he's gonna go into the Striker Dragon, of course, and use the Tidying just to special out back the Parlor. And he's going to link off into Heretic Seal. It's very familiar, and just based on how this looks, I don't know if that represents that it's a collector's rare or something. It's pretty cool, you know, pretty cool flex. For turn, you know, I really need this Prosperity to resolve and hit a baby Cyber Dragon. So we are excavating. So we do see the core, so that's good. We're sort of set at that point. And so we find Maxx. That would have been pretty nice as well. So we're going to special out the Cyber Dragon first, of course, just to clear that Heretic Seal, because if he doesn't, then I can just go into Mega Fleet. So he does that and just brings out the Chambered and adds Welcome. I'm just used to them searching Tidying from just like the Dragon Link strategies. I don't special the Cyber Dragon again, just because I'm going to use Machine Dupe, and I just want to sort of play around Nibiru. That way I can get into Nova on the 5th summon instead. So that's kind of the reason why. And so we are going to be able to resolve the Machine Dupe and go into Nova. They did have another Tidying, so unfortunately it does get bounced, but I do have another way of going into Nova and Infinity. So we're going to use the Soldier's effect just to get another Soldier, and then we're going to use Revsystem. I am using a lot of resources here, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, I can't just end on Core Pass either. So we are going to go into our Nova again, and let's try this one more time. Use that effect, Detach for cost. And we're going to special out the Cyber Dragon. And so perhaps I should just fast forward at this point. So we will just go into Infinity, and then we'll just link those two off for Anaconda. That animation's pretty sick as well. And so just using the effect for now, even though, you know, and he tries to use Lancia, of course, I'm just going to negate it. He is under Prosperity, so he's not going to die. But I did do that just to get the some Cyber Dragons in the grave, and just for Overflow to have more, I guess, resources to banish. Well, I guess technically I could have also just left those cards there, but I also wanted to follow up and just get the core. And so we're just going to attack a little bit. And we get to, and you know, it is multiple times, but it is half damage, so it's not going to do too much. So we will just suck up the Anaconda and use the set the Overflow and pass turn. So he's going to start off with the Hospitality. I mean, I negate this. I kind of forgot how this deck worked. I mean, I ideally wanted to negate the Fusion. I don't know if that's better either. I remember you can also get the Fusion card back anyways. He's going to use the Chamber now and just add, that's the Fusion spell. So, well, that's kind of concerning for me because, you know, obviously Show, it's a big body. It also is an Omni Negate. You know, it's a good card. I did have the Kaiju, so I at least knew for follow-up I would have some kind of stuff to do. And I didn't want to bother with the Overflow because obviously, you know, he can just negate it. So I am going to take that damage with the Infinity. But at least my Rampage is still alive. So I guess I'll get the Tidying back with the Welcome. And going to set that. So that's also a threat as well. Bounce, very, very annoying against, for us at least. So he's going to be able to special with the Show effect. And bring out the Nurse. And then Nurse is going to special out the Parlor from Grave. And then Parlor, of course, will be able to Foolish, and you can sort of see the card here, which is, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I am going to Kaiju the show. I am going to pop 3 cards, which is pretty nice, and then now use Rampage effect and Herz and Nachster. Now, where I sort of made a misplay in a way is that I keep forgetting with the Dragonmaid strategy that they can actually just bring back the show because they have Tidy Engrave. I'm just so used to the Dragon Link strategy where the Tidying, the only thing it's for is to just bring back Chamber, that I just completely overlooked that. So I thought I had it, unfortunately not quite. So we do have show. That's going to special on defense. We're going to use Nachster, and we're going to bring that back, that Infinity. We will try to use that effect to try to suck up the Chamber. Of course, it is going to get blown up by show. Otherwise, I'll have a negate as well. And so that was the right thing to do. And he brings out the House Dragonmaid instead. I do still have the core effect, and I'm going to search the Cyberload Fusion. So now we will Contact Fuse first, just go to get rid of some bodies. And we are going to go into Seeger, and this is where you'll shortly see my misplay. So Chamber, I just should know the strategy better, but because of Show's effect now, it actually pops. And I used Cyberload Fusion because I thought I had the resources to be able to go into Cyber Twin, but it turns out I actually banished them, and I'm just now at this point just returning cards. But I think he could also have increased attack anyways, so perhaps that wouldn't have worked. But anyways, I mean, you know, yeah, this did not turn out very well. I just did not know the strategy well enough, so I get what I deserve. So I do attack through that, and so main phase 2, I still have the emergency, might as well use it. I'm just gonna add back the core, and just pass turn there. So at this point, I really knew I was kind of gonna die. So he's gonna start off with Chamber again, that he had bounced back, add that the Hospitality. It's a really good card. I mean, it basically, you know, you can special and also Foolish, so pretty good, pretty good. So now we have the Nurse, basically kind of following the same trend. Gonna special out that Parlor, and then Parlor essentially Foolishes, and that was the Kitchen. And then you can also use the Fusion spell to get it back. And now shows or House's effect, that's gonna pop, and then he gets to bring out Fusion and go into another show. It does put it in the extra monster zone, which, you know, in a way it's like Mega Fleet territory, but I mean, I'm sure like he kind of has this game in the bag. So we do take a lot of damage there, and then that's just gonna tag out and bring out the Parlor, and even has a set, and then we are going for turn here. So we draw Raigeki. It's pretty decent. Now if I did not use Revsystem already, then I could have possibly tried to, like, you know, for example, like bring something back, Contact Fuse into like Fortress, attack for 2000, but I think he has, I don't know what that set is, right? So that probably wouldn't have worked anyways. He's gonna negate Show's effect, use Show's effect to negate core to try to special from deck. So we can't get that going. And then we're gonna Raigeki. Yeah, so I guess this set was the Tidying. Or not Tidying, sorry, Downtime. I mean, even though Raigeki resolves, and like, honestly, I knew I lost. Like, I can't even use Core's effect because I used Core's other effect. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if I have any targets left. I probably did, but I'll just fast forward here. I do eventually surrender here. It's just like, no, I mean, I'm only at 500 life points, and this was, you know, it's a really cool deck. I haven't seen it a lot recently. I did see it quite a bit, like a few months back, but ever since then, I guess, I haven't really seen much. So I do take the loss on that one. That was my first loss, and only loss so far, but let's move on to the final replay. Okay, so let's move on to the final replay. Let me know if this is pretty interesting or not. Just bringing a bunch of replays for now. It's the first Master Duel video. It is against Dark Magician, and this is still in the silver rank tier, so, you know, I mean, I guess I gotta give some respect. And so I do have Evenly. This might be a very delicious one if my opponent sets a lot, which Dark Magician, from my understanding, is very like control based, and they do typically have a lot of spells and traps. And so the unfortunate thing is my hand otherwise is pretty bad. I don't have any starters. So hey, but my Evenly is looking pretty good, and that Pot of Prosperity probably will come clutch, and this is something that this deck really needs, consistency, especially now that it's a, you know, only a one game kind of ranked ladder where there's no best out of 3. I'm not sure if they'll change that in the future. I really hope they do, because right now with this, like, it's just not really like a competitive practice, right? Because like you play more games post side than not, so you really do need a full match. But this is definitely still fun regardless. We unfortunately did not excavate core directly, so we're just gonna get the emergency, and then I guess I can just fast forward here. I mean, we kind of already know what's going on. We are in main phase 2 though. Remember, we already had to use up the battle phase for evenly. That's the downside of using that card in this deck, but it is a really good board break card, and in this game it is a cheaper option. So until we can get our hands on Lightning Storm, I think it's a really good strategy. So we will just use Nova's effect, and of course bring out our boy Infinity. And we'll you know what, we're still going to bring out Anaconda and bring out Rampage. Even though we can't attack, we want to pop that whatever spell trap that he decided to save. Perhaps it's quite important. And we also have, you know, Overflow, so we can also just use the effect, send a couple more Light Machines, and just, well, yeah, now we're going to use Herz effect. We'll just get the Cyber Dragon. We'll set the Overflow and even the Chalice, sorry. And so, Raigeki. And I think at that point, my opponent just surrendered right away. And so, yeah, we do take that one. So, looking pretty good so far. Alright guys, so we are back to our deck list, and like I said earlier, you know, I think I need to convert these Gammas into Ashes as I upgrade with more ultra rare points, and then I can also look to upgrade the Chalice and the into Droplets and evenly into like Lightning Storms. I think I might even consider doing my old ratio where I did like 2 Lightning Storm, 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I think especially because it's like a single game format and not a best of 3, you know, it's probably useful to have a quick play spell trap removal in the main, especially as a going second deck. And so those are kind of like my key upgrades that I need to do. And as for the extra deck, you know, Pallades is nice, but I never really went into it, you know, in terms of my build where I didn't play Dragoon. And if like DP comes out into this game, and if or Anaconda is still somehow legal at that point, you know, obviously I'd consider that because Dragoon is banned. And so, you know, I would also have to take out Lambda once I take out the Gamma package. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a Zeus would be another option to put in. I don't go into it too often, but I think in this single game format it actually might come pretty useful. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, lots of upgrades to be made. It's exciting though. This game's quite fun and, you know, really good so far. And for those of you who are not as familiar with this game yet and want to know how to get, like, you know, let's say the Cyber Dragon core, like deck core as in. So what I did, you know, thanks to people in the Cyber Dragon Facebook group that helped me out, basically, you know, you get these like craft points up here as you go through like solo mode, for example, and then you can like search for Cyber Dragon core and use up 30 of the super rare craft points, and then once you get that, it's essentially like buying a single card, and then it will actually unlock a Cyber Dragon secret pack, and you'll see a little icon that pops up here. And then you can just buy a ton of those packs. I don't know if that's like the best use of your resources. I spent a lot of gems opening 10 packs at a time, and you get a lot of Cyber Dragon cards, but it was pretty hard to get Emergency and definitely hard to get Infinity. And the Machine Dupe, I just generated those. Like, you don't even get those in the pack. Same with the Galaxy Soldiers. And so, yeah, you know, that's just how I started, and it's been fun. I've definitely seen much better Cyber Dragon deck lists on the Cyber Dragon Facebook group for people that are also playing Master Duel, so, you know, you can check that group out. But, you know, I'm excited to make my list better over time, and just let me know if you enjoyed this video. I'll definitely bring Dueling Book replay videos because that's more of a competitive gameplay, but I definitely do want to also bring some Master Duel replays every now and then just to show how I've progressed. And, you know, it's just like the animations, everything looks so nice, and I think it's really fun to watch as well. So that's it for me, guys. Take care.